Welcome to our first STEAM experiment. This is our first in a set of three. Today is all about snowshoes. Do big paws help in the snow? So first of all, I wanted to introduce myself and just say hello and welcome and tell you who I am. So my name is Miss Jenny, and I am the Youth Services Librarian at the Advanced Learning Library. I put a picture of the library right here, and we are located down over by the Exploration Place. And we would love for you to come in and say hello. I could show you around the children's room and find you some good books to read. So a little bit about myself. I was a teacher for 5 years, and then I switched over to libraries, and I've been doing that for 4 years now. And it's a lot of fun. I just love it. So today I am going to talk to you about snowshoes. This is what snowshoes look like. Snowshoes are very helpful in obviously snowy climates to keep you safe. And if you have to go out in the snow, they basically work by making your foot area bigger. So you can see in these pictures, it's kind of like a giant shoe. All right, now animals in the snow, they kind of have nature's own snowshoe. So animals that live in snowy climates, if you start researching and looking, you'll notice that their paws are normally pretty big. So here's one example, kind of the inspiration of this event today, the Canada lynx. This Canadian animal, look how big his or her paws are compared to the size of their body. It looks very large. And we're wondering today, does this large paw really help with walking or running in the snow, traveling? What do we think? I mean, it probably has some benefits, otherwise the animal wouldn't be like this. If you look at this picture up in the left side, you see a bobcat has a much smaller footprint. The bobcat doesn't live in snowy areas, but this Canada lynx does. Do you see how giant it is compared? All right, so what are we going to do today? In today's experiment, we're going to spend about 30 minutes first, we're going to look through our kit materials and see what we have. Second, we're going to do the experiment together. And lastly, we're going to talk kind of the explanation behind why it works and what's happening. All right, I want you to raise your hand if you already followed the directions that I left in the kit and you completed the activity already. Okay, that's okay if you already did. You're welcome to do it again with us or just watch along and see if it kind of matches up with what you did at home. And raise your hand now if you already opened the bag and peeked inside. If that's you, curious people, that is totally okay. Hopefully you haven't lost any of the materials and you still have them all today. It's totally fine if you already peeked in. If you haven't, go ahead and open your bag now. And we are going to check out what is inside our bags. So you should have a set of directions, which you will not need right now because we're going to do it together. But if you want to do this again in the future, this will be handy to have. You should have one bag of baking flour. This is just from the kitchen. We're pretending it's snow today. We have one foam bowl to put the snow in. Inside this bag, we have a plastic spoon, and we will use this to stir the snow up. You should have 3 glue dots. Glue dots are just like little sticky, almost like tape, but they're really sticky. You have 3 of them in case you make a mistake. You only need 2 today. And then you should also have inside your bag 2 little cardboard piece circles. that I've cut out. These are what we are going to pretend are our snowshoes today. So we're going to basically put the glue dots on here and choose one of your two animals to put on, and we will make some snowshoes. All right, and lastly, of course, you should have your two animals. Everyone has a variety of animals. You might have an elephant, you might have rhinos, you might have a hippo, you might have a polar bear or a cheetah, you might have a tiger. All right, and I think that's it. So we are going to get started. Let me move this down here. All right, the first step is to carefully, let me move this over here. Carefully pour the flour into the bowl, but don't pack it down. You just don't want to make a big mess. That's why I put it carefully. All right. Move it this way a little bit. And I want to make sure you have enough. You might not need everything in the bag. It looks like this might be just enough. I'm going to leave some extra in my bag. Okay, I'm going to seal my bag back up so that I don't make a mess. And the last part of step one is to use the spoon to stir it up if you need to restart. So, but I see that when I poured mine, it kind of made a tower. So instead of using the spoon right away, I'm just going to kind of sift it by shaking it slightly. And now it looks pretty flat. So I'm just going to go with that and not use my spoon yet. Okay, step two. Now we're going to try stepping in the snow. You're going to choose one animal to be your barefoot animal. And for this whole project, one of the one you pick will be the barefoot one, and then the other one will be the snowshoe one. Okay, so I'm going to choose this guy to be my barefoot animal. And we're going to start step three, which is place your animal in the snow to see how deep the footprint will be. Now be careful when you do this. Don't push the animal down at first. We just want to set it on top and see what happens. Okay. And what you might notice is that pay attention in this experiment, the feet, kind of paying attention to how deep the feet go. Okay, he didn't go too much. That's good. Let's see what else we have here. They might get pretty deep. I want you to try pushing the animal down. It's going to be super easy to push this animal down. All right, ready? And I want you to notice how low his, oh my goodness, I can get him all the way to his tummy. His feet aren't, like his legs aren't even visible now. It's so easy for this animal to sink because he has very small footprints. All right, now we are going to make some snowshoes. I'm going to get my little guy out of here, shake him off a little bit, put him back on my paper. We're going to make snowshoes with the other animal you have. You need your 2 pieces of cardboard, your glue dots, and your second animal. On the demonstration picture here, we had slightly bigger animals, and so we had 4. Because our animals that we purchased are a little smaller, we found after practice that it made more sense to just have 2 and just have 2 feet on each snowshoe. Okay, so I can make this bigger for us. We are going to carefully put a glue dot on a piece of cardboard and gently pull the paper off. This way you are not touching the glue dot yourself. If you touch it with your fingers, it can be very tricky to get it off. Now, most of your animals, you'll notice mine has, his feet are in different spots, so you might not get your glue dot to touch both feet. But try to choose before you start using your glue dot, try to choose which ones, where on the cardboard you want the glue dot to touch the foot. because it's probably not, unless some of you might have animals where the feet are like right next to each other, but mine are like this, right? So I have to choose which one is my glue dot going to stick to, okay? Now, I want you to peel this off without touching the sticky, because if you touch the sticky, it's going to be hard to use it. And I'm going to take one of my cardboards and I'm going to push, put the cardboard on it, push to peel. Okay, stick a dot on there. I'm going to, mine is a little trickier because his feet are a little harder placed. So I'm going to check where I want it. So it's going to touch his front. To there. So the glue dot is on this foot. Okay, and for those of you who do have the feet a little farther apart, you might choose to use that third glue dot, and that might help you. You don't have to, not required. Okay, I'm going to put my second glue dot on. I'm going to pull it off. There we go. Now I'm done with my glue dots. And set that to the side. And then this one I'm going to place right there. Okay, now we have our animal with his snowshoes. All right, we're ready for the next step. Now, before we actually do this experiment, as a scientist, what we need to do is hypothesize. We have to question what is going to happen, okay? What do you think will happen? How much will this animal sink down? Do you think it's going to be more or less than the first time? Let's go ahead and see. All right, step 6. Use the spoon to stir the snow up, because you can see, let me zoom out again or zoom in. You can see I have these footprints in my snow, so I need to use my spoon real quickly to kind of flatten it out again. You could also kind of just shake it. All right. Now it's flat snow here, and we are going to do step 7. Place your snowshoe animal in the snow. Same thing as before. Don't press it down. Just drop it in and see what happens. Did it go very far? His legs did not go down at all. All right, next step. I want you to try pushing it down like we did before. What's gonna happen? Let's see. Push, push, push. I'm pushing really hard, and I'm actually getting it to go down a little bit. But look at his legs. Look at his feet. Are they actually covered in snow? Are they under the snow? I don't see them under the snow at all. You can tell that I went down a little bit in the snow, but his feet are dry. Now let's do our friend again over here and push him down. Push. Big difference, right? He's swallowed in the snow. It would take a lot of effort for this animal, if he's trying to go get his next meal in the snow, for him to lift himself up and keep walking, right? But this one's just gonna hop along on the top of the snow. Very cool. Now, which one do you think would benefit animals more that live in the snow, who live in the snow? Definitely having bigger paws. Now, humans, we can't make ourselves have bigger feet technically. However, we can utilize snowshoes and be safe in the snow that way. All right, I want to let you in on a little secret behind this experiment. Why doesn't the animal with the snowshoe go very far in the snow, but the barefoot does? It's all about, say it with me, surface area, surface area. This is what this experiment is about, surface area. Have you ever tried walking through deep, soft snow? It really does take a lot of work to keep lifting yourself out of the snow, and it can be really dangerous. Snowshoes, like these in the picture, they keep you from sinking with each step by spreading your body weight out across the larger surface area. Now, why does this work? With the weight distributed across a larger area, the snow is able to hold you up. You're putting less body mass per square inch on the snow. So think of it this way. There's lots of ways we could think about this experiment. I like to think about summertime. I'm swimming in a pool. All right, close your eyes and think about it with me. We're swimming in a pool and I'm trying to float on my back. I want to float on my back across the surface, the top of the pool. If I spread my legs open and spread my arms open, like I'm almost going to do a jumping jack, I'm going to stay afloat, right? I'm going to move my arms back and forth, kind of like a bird, and I'm moving, but I'm staying on top of the water. As soon as I close my legs together and I put my arms next to my stomach, my tummy, what happens? I start to sink down. Oh no, why is that? Because surface area. When you spread out your body, you're not making yourself weigh any less. You're just spreading out how much weight is distributed per square inch. All right, same thing with the snow or the flour. By making the snowshoes, we are spreading out how much weight we're pushing down into the snow. Same amount of weight, it's just spread out a little bit more. Pretty cool. Okay, boys and girls, this is the end of our experiment. I hope you've had fun. I hope you might have learned something new. And I want to thank you for joining us today. You can go ahead and keep your snowshoe animals. You can redo this experiment over and over again. Show your family, show your friends. And yeah, I hope you had a lot of fun. There's 2 more events like this. One's in February and one's in March. The first one is all about pennies, surface tension. So it's a little different. So we are going to take little droppers and try to see how much water we can fit on a penny. You think it's like a drop, or maybe 2 or 4 or maybe 20? So it might be more than you think. It's actually pretty cool. So that one's in February. And March, we are doing a paper airplane launcher. So we will make paper airplanes, but we will also I'll provide you with materials to make a launching kit. So it makes your airplane shoot pretty far. So that should be a lot of fun as well. So signups are limited for both of these experiments. So sign up as quick as possible today. So the phone number you're going to call is to the children's room at the Advanced Learning Library right here, 316-261-8516. You can also go online to wichitalibrary.org/events